The doctor's words hit like a sledgehammer. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Paul, but your chances of natural conception are less than 1%. Just like that, my dream of motherhood shattered into a million pieces. I'm Vivian. And until last Tuesday, I thought I had everything figured out. Stable career as a paralegal, loving husband of 5 years, and a carefully planned future that included a nursery painted in soft yellows. Now? I was sitting in my car outside the fertility clinic, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My phone buzzed. Jeremy's face lit up the screen. "Hey," I answered, trying to keep my voice steady. "I just finished at Dr. Marshall's." "How'd it go?" His tone was oddly distant, like he was multitasking. "Not great. Can you come home early? We need to talk about our options." A pause. Too long of a pause. "Sorry, babe. Big client meeting. We'll talk tonight?" I swallowed hard. "The IVF fund? We should probably discuss tonight, okay? Love you." Click. That evening, I waited with takeout getting cold on the counter. 8 p.m. 9 p.m. No Jeremy. His texts grew increasingly vague. "Working late. Don't wait up." I checked our joint savings account, the one we'd been filling for 3 years, designated specifically for fertility treatments. The balance made me smile, even now. $47,132. Not enough for multiple rounds, but a solid start. The next morning, Jeremy was gone before I woke up. Unusual, but I was too drained to question it. I dragged myself to work, buried myself in case files, and tried not to cry when a colleague showed off ultrasound photos. 3 days passed like this. Jeremy barely home, barely speaking. Then Friday morning, I logged into our bank account to pay bills. $47,930 had become $243. My hands shook as I called the bank. "This must be a mistake," I said, reading off the account number. "No mistake, ma'am. The funds were withdrawn via wire transfer on Tuesday afternoon." "By whom?" "The transfer was authorized by Jeremy Shelton." I hung up and immediately called Jeremy. Straight to voicemail. I texted, "Where is our IVF money?" No response. I was about to call again when my phone chimed with a message. From Ivy, my younger sister. We hadn't spoken in months, typical for us. Opening it, I froze. A photo. Ivy in a white dress on a Venice balcony, Jeremy in a tux beside her, his arms around her waist, both beaming at the camera. The caption read, "Some dreams do come true. Sorry you couldn't make the wedding, sis." The room spun. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Back at my desk, hands trembling, I pulled up our joint account again. The wire transfer. I needed details. The customer service rep had mentioned Tuesday, the same day as my diagnosis. While I'd been sitting in that sterile doctor's office learning I couldn't have children, my husband had been emptying our savings, planning to marry my sister. My phone kept buzzing. Congratulatory comments popping up under Ivy's post. Heart emojis. "So happy for you both." Even my father, who hadn't spoken to either of us in years, had liked the photo. I clicked through Ivy's profile. More wedding pictures. The venue, I recognized it. The same place Jeremy and I had looked at last year, before deciding to put the money toward IVF instead. A new text from Jeremy. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way. We never meant to hurt you." We, my sister and my husband. The fund we'd built together. My future, stolen in an afternoon. I opened my banking app again, this time logging into my personal account, the one Jeremy didn't know about, the one where I kept my bonus money. Hands steady now, I took screenshots of the wire transfer details. Something caught my eye, the authorization signature on the transfer. It looked wrong. I pulled up our mortgage documents with Jeremy's real signature. They didn't match. My paralegal training kicked in. Document fraud, wire fraud, identity theft, if they'd used my information anywhere else. I opened my work laptop and created a new folder. Evidence. The numbness was fading now, replaced by something else, something hot and sharp and clarifying. They thought they'd written the perfect love story, stealing my money, my husband, my future. But they forgot one thing. I specialized in civil litigation, and I knew exactly how to make people pay. My phone buzzed again. Another photo from Ivy. Living our best life. Don't be jealous, sis. It's not a good look. I saved the photo. Evidence folder. Then I called my friend Heidi, the best divorce attorney in the city. Hey, I said when she answered. How would you like to help me destroy two people? Girl, this is way beyond a divorce case, Heidi said, spreading printouts across her desk. This is criminal territory. I'd spent the weekend gathering evidence, bank statements, phone records, every digital breadcrumb my dear sister and husband had left behind. Now, sitting in Heidi's office early Monday morning, the pattern was clear. Look at these vendor payments, I pointed to a series of transactions. They used DocuSign with my signature, but I never authorized these. Heidi leaned forward, frowning. The venue alone was $15,000. How did they think they'd get away with this? Because they thought I'd collapse. I pulled up Ivy's Instagram stories. They're still in Venice, posting about their fairy tale. Meanwhile, I've found 6 different fraudulent charges. You need to file a police report, Heidi said, reaching for her phone. I know a detective who... Not yet. I held up my hand. First, I want to talk to the vendors, see exactly what documents they have. Vivian, trust me. I spent my lunch break at Bella Rosa wedding venue, meeting with Rebecca, the manager. Her smile faded as I showed her the forged DocuSign. This is... concerning, she said, pulling up their files. The booking was under both your names initially. Then Mr. Shelton changed it to just his and... Oh. My sister's? Rebecca nodded. He said you'd agreed to transfer the deposit to them as a wedding gift. We have an email confirmation from your address. An address I never wrote from. I handed her my business card. You'll be hearing from the fraud department soon. I suggest you keep everything. Back at work, I was organizing my evidence folder when Delilah from accounting stopped by my desk. So sorry about Jeremy, she said, not sounding sorry at all. I heard he left because he and my sister stole $50,000 and committed wire fraud? I smiled sweetly. Is that what you heard? Her mouth opened, then closed. No, I continued. Interesting, because I have proof of exactly that. Would you like to see the falsified documents? She scurried away. By afternoon, the office gossip had shifted from poor Jeremy to, did you hear about the theft? My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. Ivy posing in front of the Rialto Bridge. When you marry your soulmate, everything feels magical. I clicked through to the tagged vendors. The florist, the caterer, the photographer. Each one paid with my money, each contract bearing my forged signature. Time to make some calls, I muttered. By evening, 3 vendors had confirmed fraudulent payments. 2 more were reviewing their records. The wedding photographer already offered to send me all the raw files as evidence. My phone rang. Unknown number. Vivian? A man's voice. This is Detective Romero. Your friend Heidi called about potential fraud? I smiled. Perfect timing, Detective. I was just compiling evidence of identity theft. How much detail would you like? Start from the beginning. I did. The wire transfer, the forged signatures, the fake emails, the vendor contracts. And they're still in Italy? He asked. Posting every hour. Would you like their exact location? They're not very subtle with their geotags. He chuckled. Send everything to my email. We'll need statements from the vendors, too. Already arranged. They're not happy about being defrauded. After hanging up, I checked my email. A message from Rebecca at Bella Rosa. Found more documents. They used your credit card info for the final payment. Want the records? My evidence folder was growing by the minute. Another buzz. A text from my father. Ivy says you're threatening her. Stop being jealous and let them be happy. I screenshot it. Added it to the folder. Walking to my car that evening, I overheard Delilah on the phone. No, apparently he actually stole from her, like serious fraud. And her sister. Can you believe? Let them talk. Let the story spread. At home, I opened my laptop one last time, logged into the joint email account Jeremy and I shared, the one he probably forgot about. There it was, confirmation emails for their honeymoon bookings, first-class flights, 5-star hotels, all paid with stolen money. My phone buzzed again. Ivy. Stop calling the vendors. You're embarrassing yourself. I smiled, thinking of the police report being filed, the fraud investigation beginning, the vendors reviewing their records. Oh, sister, I whispered, you have no idea what embarrassment feels like. But you will. I opened my evidence folder and created a new subfolder. Criminal charges. Then I started typing my official statement. They thought they'd written their perfect ending, but I was just getting started. My phone lit up. Heidi. Detective Romero wants to meet tomorrow. Ready to make this official? I texted back one word. Absolutely. Detective Romero spread the photos across his desk. They're not even trying to hide it, he said, pointing to Ivy's latest Instagram post, a selfie with Jeremy at a Venetian cafe, designer shopping bags visible in the background. Why would they? I replied. They think they're untouchable. Well, they thought wrong. He tapped his keyboard. The DA's office is very interested in the wire fraud angle, especially since it crosses state lines. A knock at the door interrupted us. A uniformed officer entered with a stack of papers. The subpoenas just came in from the courthouse. My phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca at Bella Rosa. You need to see this. She's trying to sell her wedding photos to a bridal magazine. I showed the detective. He shook his head. Evidence keeps piling up. Walking back to my car, another call came in. Unknown number. Vivienne? A deep voice I hadn't heard in years. It's Dad. My steps faltered. What do you want? Ivy called. She's hysterical about you harassing her vendors. This needs to stop. Interesting. I kept my voice level. Did she mention the stolen money? The forged signatures? She said you gave them that money as a wedding gift. Really? Want to see the fraudulent wire transfer documents? Silence. Actually, Dad, while I have you, did you know Ivy's planning to sell Grandpa's estate? The one you put in trust? What? His voice sharpened. She can't. That property is in my name, I know. But she's already contacted realtors, using a power of attorney document with my forged signature. More silence. Then, send me everything. Back at work, Delilah cornered me in the break room. Vivienne, I feel terrible about what I said before. I had no idea. That my sister and husband were criminals? I stirred my coffee. Funny how quick perspectives change. But how are you so calm? I smiled. Who says I'm calm? My phone buzzed again, an email from Jeremy's company HR department responding to my fraud notification. We take these allegations seriously. Mr. Shelton has been suspended pending investigation. Perfect. That evening, Heidi called. Have you seen Ivy's latest post? I hadn't. Opening Instagram, I found it. A long, tearful video. Ivy, mascara running, claiming I was destroying her happiness out of jealousy. The comments were fascinating. Half sympathy, half questions. But did you take her money? Why use her signature? Isn't that fraud? Ivy was responding frantically, digging herself deeper with each reply. Then a new notification. A direct message from my father. Just spoke to the family lawyer. The trust documents are solid. She can't touch the estate. I forwarded the message to Detective Romero, adding it to the evidence pile. My doorbell rang. A courier with an envelope. Inside, medical records. My fertility clinic documents with unauthorized access logs. Someone had viewed them the day before my diagnosis. Someone with the username, IVP28. My hands shook as I called the clinic. Yes, the administrator confirmed. Someone accessed your files using your patient portal. We've launched an internal investigation. Another piece of the puzzle. They hadn't just stolen my money, they'd violated my medical privacy. My phone lit up. A text from Ivy. Stop this witch hunt or I'll tell everyone why Jeremy really left. I screenshot it. Evidence folder. Then I typed back. You mean how you accessed my medical records illegally? Already documented with the police? No response. But 10 minutes later, Ivy went live on Instagram again. This time, she was angry, defensive. My sister's just bitter because she can't have children. Jeremy chose me because I can give him a family. The comments exploded. Not in her favor. She deleted the video within minutes, but not before I'd recorded it. My father called again. I've seen enough. You have my support. And Vivian. I'm sorry. About everything. Little late, Dad. I know, but I'm here now. I ended the call and opened my laptop. Time to compile everything for tomorrow's meeting with the DA. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Rebecca. You should know. They're planning a big welcome home party next week. Rented our venue again. I sat back, thinking. A party. Where everyone would be gathered. Where they'd expect to celebrate their perfect crime. Thanks for letting me know, I replied. Then I called Heidi. Remember how we discussed timing the subpoenas? I think I know exactly when to serve them. The party? She caught on immediately. That's deliciously evil. No, I corrected her. That's justice. I opened my calendar and marked the date. 1 week, 7 days until their fairy tale crashed into reality. My phone lit up again. Another tearful post from Ivy. I didn't bother reading it. Let her cry. Let her post. Let her think she's winning. The clock was ticking. The welcome home party was in full swing when I pulled into Bella Rosa's parking lot. Through the venue's windows, I could see the banner. Welcome home, lovebirds. Fairy lights twinkled. Champagne flowed. Right on schedule, Heidi said from the passenger seat. Detective Romero just texted. His team's in position. I checked my watch. 8:15 p.m. Perfect. The vendors. All here, very eager to discuss their fraudulent contracts. Inside, the party was exactly what you'd expect. Ivy holding court in a designer dress, Jeremy working the room with his practiced charm. Neither noticed me slipping in through the side door. Oh my God, Delilah whispered to her date, loud enough for me to hear. She actually came. I positioned myself near the bar, watching, waiting. 8:30 p.m. Right on cue, Rebecca approached the happy couple. Mr. Shelton? There seems to be an issue with the payment. Jeremy's smile flickered. Not now. Actually, yes now. She held up a tablet. These credit card charges? They're being disputed as fraudulent. Heads turned. Whispers started. There must be a mistake. Ivy laughed nervously. Jeremy, handle this. Actually, I stepped forward. He can't. Those charges were made with my stolen card information. The room went silent. Vivian, Jeremy's voice hardened. You're not welcome here. Funny, that's what the bank said about your wire transfers. The main doors opened. Detective Romero entered with 2 officers. Jeremy Shelton, Ivy Paul, we have some documents for you. Ivy's face went white. You wouldn't dare. Oh, but I would. I nodded to the detective. Just like you dared to access my medical records, forge my signatures, steal my money. She's lying. Ivy turned to the crowd. She's just jealous because what? I cut in. Because you committed fraud? Identity theft? Would you like to see the evidence? The florist stepped forward. Is that why my payment was flagged? Then the photographer. And my contract had unauthorized signatures? The caterer. The credit card company called about disputed charges? Enough, Jeremy shouted. This is ridiculous. Vivian's clearly unstable after her diagnosis. Interesting you mention that, Heidi spoke up. Since you illegally accessed her medical records before emptying her accounts. Camera flashes went off. A woman I recognized from the local wedding blog was documenting everything. "You can't prove anything," Ivy said, but her voice shook. "Actually," Detective Romero held up a thick envelope, "these subpoenas say otherwise." Jeremy grabbed Ivy's arm. "We're leaving." "That would be unwise," an officer blocked their path. "We have some questions about wire fraud." The party dissolved into chaos. Guests whispered and pointed. Phones recorded everything. Ivy's mascara ran as she tried to explain to horrified friends. "But the money was a gift," she insisted. "Show them the gift documentation," I challenged. "Oh wait, you can't, because it doesn't exist." Jeremy tried a different approach. "Vivian, please, we can work this out." "Like you worked out forging my signature? Or stealing my fertility fund?" More gasps from the crowd. "Is it true?" someone asked. "They stole her IVF money." "And used it for their wedding," Heidi confirmed loudly. "After accessing her confidential medical records." Ivy snapped. "You're just bitter because you can't have children." The room went dead silent. "No," I said quietly. "I'm bitter because my sister and husband betrayed me. But mostly, I'm done watching you profit from fraud." Detective Romero stepped forward. "Mr. Shelton, Ms. Paul, we need you to come with us." "You can't do this," Ivy sobbed. "It's our welcome home party. Consider it your goodbye party instead." As the officers led them out, the wedding blogger approached me. "Would you like to tell your side of the story?" I smiled. "Actually, yes. I have quite a few documents you might find interesting." My phone buzzed. A text from my father. "Just saw Ivy's live stream meltdown. You okay?" "Perfect," I typed back. "Justice is being served." The venue emptied quickly, guests fleeing the scandal. Only Heidi remained, grinning. "That," she said, "was better than any court drama I've ever seen." I watched the last police car pull away, Ivy's tearful face visible in the window. The best part? I picked up an abandoned champagne glass. "This is just the beginning. Wait until the DA sees everything else we've uncovered." "To justice," Heidi clinked her glass against mine. "To consequences," I corrected. My phone lit up with notifications. Ivy's social media followers were already reacting to the party drama, her perfectly curated image crumbling in real time. "Ready to go?" Heidi asked. I took one last look at the Welcome Home banner, now hanging crooked and forgotten. "Actually," I smiled, "I think I'm just getting started." The wedding blog article went viral overnight. By morning, Ivy's carefully curated social media empire was imploding. Her sponsored posts disappeared one by one as brands quietly cut ties. "Have you seen this?" Heidi forwarded me a link. Jeremy's company had issued a public statement. "In light of serious allegations, we've suspended all duties pending investigation." My phone rang. "Ivy." "You've ruined everything!" she screamed before I could speak. "My followers are unfollowing me. My brand deals." "Funny how fraud allegations affect influencer contracts," I cut in. "Almost like actions have consequences." "I'm your sister." "You were my sister. Now you're just another person who committed identity theft." A notification popped up. Ivy had started another Instagram Live. I switched to speakerphone and recorded. "You don't understand," she was crying now. "Jeremy said he'd handle the money part. I just wanted—" "What? My husband, my savings, my life." "You couldn't even give him children," she spat. "I can. I'm all ready." She stopped abruptly. My hand tightened on the phone. "You're pregnant." Silence. "How long?" 6 weeks, she whispered. "I found out in Venice." I ended the call, opened my laptop, added this new information to the evidence file. My office door opened. Delilah stood there, looking uncomfortable. Your father's here." Dad looked older than I remembered, standing awkwardly by my desk. "We need to talk about Ivy." "Now you want to talk? After years of silence?" "I know I wasn't there." He sat heavily. After your mother left. Don't. Vivian, please. Ivy. She always blamed herself for the divorce. Said if she hadn't been born. So she punished me instead? She was jealous. You had everything together. The career, the marriage. And now she has my husband and my money. I pulled up the evidence folder. Want to see how they did it? He reviewed the documents silently. Forged signatures, fraudulent transfers, the accessed medical records. Jesus, he muttered. And now she's pregnant? You heard? Her live stream. Half the internet heard. He rubbed his face. The estate she tried to sell? I never told her it was in your name. Your grandfather knew. He knew she was unstable. My phone buzzed. A message from Jeremy. We need to talk about the baby. Delete. Another notification. Ivy posting again. A tearful video confession. Yes, I knew about the money, she admitted on screen. Jeremy said Vivian owed him, that she'd frozen him out after the fertility news. I just wanted my happy ending. Save that, Heidi texted. Her admission of knowledge makes this even better for the DA. Dad watched the video, shaking his head. She's unraveling. Good. Vivian, don't ask me to forgive her. I'm not. He stood. I'm asking you to let me help make this right. My phone rang again. Detective Romero. The DA's moving forward, he said. But there's more. We found other fraudulent documents. Insurance claims, loan applications. Send everything, I replied. After he hung up, I checked social media again. Ivy's follower count was plummeting. Comments flooded her posts. Thief! How could you do that to your sister? Fraud. Jeremy's professional LinkedIn was gone. His company bio deleted. A new email arrived from Rebecca. They're trying to dispute the venue charges, called their credit card company claiming identity theft. Ironic, right? I forwarded it to Heidi. More evidence. Dad was still there, watching me. What happens now? Now? I pulled up the DA's filing documents. They face the music, criminal charges, civil lawsuits, public humiliation. And the baby? I paused. That's not my problem. My phone lit up. Ivy again. Please, I'm sorry, I never meant. Block. Another notification. The wedding blog had posted a follow-up article. Fairy tale wedding revealed as fraudulent nightmare. Dad read it over my shoulder. She always wanted what you had. And now she has nothing. He touched my shoulder briefly. Neither do you. No, I corrected him. I have something better. The truth. My phone buzzed one last time. Heidi. DA wants to meet tomorrow. Ready to finish this? I looked at my evidence folder. At Ivy's tearful confessions. At Jeremy's desperate messages. Yes, I typed back. It's time. Dad headed for the door, then turned. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. For fighting back. I didn't answer. Just watched him leave as another notification lit up my screen. Ivy's latest post. The full story. My side. Let her talk. Let her cry. Let her try to explain. The truth was already out there, spreading like wildfire, and it was only going to get hotter. The DA's office was cold and formal, exactly how I wanted this moment to feel. Jeremy sat across the conference table, his lawyer whispering urgently in his ear. Ivy wasn't here. Her morning sickness had become a convenient excuse to avoid difficult meetings. Let's review the charges, the DA began, spreading documents across the table. Wire fraud, identity theft, multiple counts of document forgery. Jeremy's lawyer leaned forward. My client is willing to discuss a plea arrangement. I'm sure he is, Heidi replied coolly, especially after what we found in the insurance files. Jeremy's head snapped up. Oh? I smiled. Did you think we wouldn't find those too? The DA pulled out another folder. Mr. Shelton has been filing false insurance claims using Mrs. Paul's information for the past 2 years. The insurance company is very interested in discussing this. Jeremy's face went pale. How many policies was it? I asked innocently. 4? 5? 6, Detective Romero corrected, entering the room, including a life insurance policy taken out 3 months ago. The lawyer stopped whispering. My phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. Ivy's here at the venue, demanding a refund. Should I call security? Let her stay, I typed back. The officers will want to speak with her anyway. The DA continued listing charges. Each one made Jeremy sink lower in his chair. His perfect con was unraveling thread by thread. We're prepared to offer a deal, his lawyer tried again. No deals, I cut in. Full prosecution. Vivian, please. Jeremy spoke for the first time. Think about the baby. Like you thought about my fertility fund? He flinched. My phone lit up again. Dad. Ivy's making scenes all over town, says she's being persecuted. The trust fund, the DA continued, the one Ms. Paul attempted to access fraudulently, we've frozen all attempts to transfer or sell those assets. Jeremy's lawyer was scribbling frantically now. And the medical records breach, Heidi added. The fertility clinic is pursuing separate charges. This is insane, Jeremy burst out. It was just money. We were going to pay it back. With what? I asked. Your fraudulent insurance claims? The door opened. Another detective entered with a new stack of files. Sir, he addressed Romero, we found more policies, different companies, same fraud pattern. Jeremy's lawyer stopped writing. My phone buzzed continuously now. Messages poured in. Rebecca. Ivy's crying to anyone who'll listen about being set up. Dad. She tried to access the estate again. Lawyers blocked it. Heidi. Insurance investigators want to meet tomorrow. The DA stood. Mr. Shelton, given the extent of the fraud, we're revoking your bail privileges. What? No, you can't. 2 officers entered. Jeremy Shelton, you're under arrest for multiple counts of insurance fraud, wire fraud, and identity theft. As they led him out, he looked back at me. I never meant for this to happen. Yes, you did, I replied. You just meant to get away with it. My phone rang. Ivy. They're arresting Jeremy, she screamed. What did you do? I didn't do anything. Your husband's insurance fraud did this. Insurance what? Oh, I said sweetly. He didn't tell you about that part? Check your email. I sent you copies. She hung up. The DA gathered his files. We'll proceed with Ms. Paul's charges next week, though with her condition, no special treatment, I said firmly. She made her choices. Outside the office, Heidi hugged me. How does it feel? Like justice. My phone buzzed again. A news alert. Local insurance broker arrested in major fraud investigation. Then another notification. Ivy had gone live again, but this time she was raging at Jeremy. You did what with insurance policies? While I'm carrying your child? Send that to the DA, Heidi advised. Her public meltdown helps our case. A text from Dad. Ivy's threatening to leave town. She can't, I replied. Court orders, no travel. I watched another notification pop up. Jeremy's company announcing his termination, his insurance license revoked, his assets frozen. Ready for phase 2? Heidi asked. I nodded. Civil suits, every vendor, every fraudulent charge. They'll be paying this back for decades. My phone lit up one last time. A message from Detective Romero. Insurance Fraud Task Force wants to interview you tomorrow. They're building a major case. I smiled, thinking of all those hidden policies. Jeremy's secret fraud empire, crumbling under investigation. Tell them I'll bring everything I've found, I replied. Heidi checked her watch. The news will break nationally by morning. Good. I gathered my files. Let everyone see exactly who they really are. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing the truth. It's watching that truth destroy everything they built with lies. The mediation room felt smaller than I expected. Ivy sat across the table, her designer clothes replaced by a plain maternity dress. No makeup, no filters, no Instagram-perfect facade. This meeting is required by the court, the mediator explained. Before we proceed with criminal charges, we're offering one chance to discuss restitution. Ivy wouldn't look at me. 3 months of public humiliation had stripped away her confidence. Jeremy's insurance fraud scandal had destroyed any sympathy she might have gotten. "Where's Jeremy?" I asked, though I knew. "Still in custody," her lawyer answered. "The insurance companies found 13 more fraudulent policies." Ivy flinched. "Let's address the immediate matters," the mediator continued. "The stolen funds, forged documents, and medical privacy breach." "I didn't know about the insurance stuff," Ivy burst out. "I swear, Vivienne, he never told me." "Like you never told me you were accessing my medical records?" She looked down at her swollen belly. 6 months pregnant now. "Why?" I asked. "Just why?" "Because you had everything." She finally met my eyes. The perfect job, the perfect husband, the perfect plan. Even when you couldn't have kids, you still had Jeremy's love. And I was just the screw-up sister. "So you stole my life?" "I stole your husband," she corrected. "The money was his idea." My lawyer opened a folder. "We have evidence suggesting otherwise. Your text messages planning the wire transfer?" Ivy's lawyer shifted uncomfortably. "The forged signatures on vendor contracts?" I continued. "That was your handwriting, Ivy. I grew up with it." "I was desperate," tears started. "Right on schedule. Jeremy said we deserved—" "Save the performance," I cut in. "Your crying videos don't work anymore." The mediator cleared his throat. "Ms. Paul, your sister's legal team has prepared a restitution proposal." Ivy's lawyer reviewed the document. His face tightened. "This would bankrupt her." "Fraud usually does," my lawyer replied. "I'm having a baby," Ivy protested. "I can't pay this." "Should have thought about that before stealing $50,000. She tried another angle. "Dad said he'd help." "Dad can't access the trust fund either," I reminded her. "Remember? The one you tried to sell illegally?" More tears. "You're enjoying this, aren't you? Destroying my life?" "No." I leaned forward. "I'm enjoying justice. I'm your sister." "You were my sister," I corrected. "Then you became a thief who accessed my private medical records to steal my husband." The mediator intervened. "Perhaps we should take a break." "No." I pulled out my phone, pulled up her Instagram post from that day in Venice. "Some dreams do come true," I read. "Remember sending that? Right after stealing my fertility fund?" She looked away. "You didn't just take my money, Ivy. You took my trust, my future, my chance at—" I stopped, breathed. "You took everything and turned it into a social media spectacle." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "No, you're sorry you got caught." Her lawyer tried again. "Given her condition, perhaps a payment plan." "No deals." I stood up. "Full restitution, full prosecution. She can explain to her baby why mommy has a fraud conviction." "Vivian, please." Ivy grabbed my arm. "Did you ever love me at all?" I looked at her hand, at her chipped nail polish, at the sister I'd grown up with, fought with, loved despite everything. "Yes," I said quietly. "Enough to never forgive you." I pulled free and walked to the door. "The DA's office will be in touch about court dates," my lawyer added. "I suggest you cooperate fully." In the hallway, Heidi waited. "How'd it go?" "Exactly as expected. Tears, excuses, pregnancy card?" My phone buzzed. A news alert. "Insurance fraud investigation expands. Multiple states involved." Then a text from Dad. "Ivy called. Said you're being cruel." "Send him the restitution proposal," I told Heidi. "Let him see exactly what his precious baby girl stole." Another buzz. Detective Romero. "Jeremy's talking, naming names. Your sister might want to reconsider that plea deal." I smiled. "Forward that to her lawyer." Heidi touched my arm. "You okay?" I watched through the window as Ivy sobbed to her attorney, the mediator packing up files. the last act of a drama she'd scripted but couldn't control. "You know what?" I said. "I actually am." My phone lit up one final time. A message from Rebecca at the venue. "You should see this. Someone made a documentary about wedding fraud. They want to interview you." "Perfect," I replied. Because some stories deserve to be told, especially the ones that end with justice instead of fairy tales. The documentary premiered at a small local theater. Love, lies, and larceny, a modern wedding scandal filled every seat. I watched from the back as my story unfolded on screen, alongside other victims of wedding fraud. "You didn't have to come," Heidi whispered beside me. "Yes, I did." My phone buzzed, a text from Detective Romero. "Jeremy took the plea deal. 15 years. Another message followed. "Insurance companies found 37 fraudulent policies total. He'll never work in finance again." On screen, Rebecca from Bella Rosa described discovering the forged documents. The caterer detailed the stolen payments, each vendor adding another piece to the puzzle of betrayal. Then, my interview played. I watched myself describe the fertility diagnosis, the stolen fund, the honeymoon photo that started it all. "Some dreams do come true," I quoted Ivy's caption. "That's what my sister wrote after stealing my life savings." The audience murmured. My phone lit up again. "Dad, Ivy's moving back in with your mother. The baby's due next week." Delete. The documentary ended with Jeremy's arrest footage and Ivy's social media meltdown. The lights came up. The director invited me to the stage. "Questions?" she asked the audience. Hands shot up. "How did you stay so focused during everything?" I gripped the microphone. "Because justice matters more than revenge." "Did you ever consider forgiveness?" "Some things aren't meant to be forgiven. Some lessons need to be learned the hard way." More questions, more answers. Then, "What are you doing with the restitution money?" I smiled. "Starting a fund for other women facing fertility challenges, because sometimes the best response to cruelty is kindness to strangers." Afterward, in the lobby, a woman approached me. "I read your story online. It helped me leave my cheating husband before he could steal my savings." Then another, "Your evidence-gathering techniques helped me prove insurance fraud at my company." And another, "I was afraid to stand up to my sister's theft. You showed me how." My phone buzzed. A message from Rebecca. "You should see this. Ivy's baby shower registry is full of comments about the fraud case." Delete. "Ready?" Heidi appeared with our coats. Outside, a reporter waited. "Any comment on your sister's upcoming birth?" "No comment, but I have something better. Proof of 3 more fraudulent insurance policies we discovered yesterday." My phone lit up. The documentary was trending online. Comments poured in. Finally, a story about consequences. "This is what real strength looks like." Justice served perfectly. A text from Dad. "Your mother wants to arrange a meeting." "No," I typed back. "Some bridges stay burned." Heidi linked her arm through mine. "The Fertility Support Fund launches next week. 10 applications already." Good. I checked my notifications. The documentary hashtag was spreading. More stories emerging. More women speaking up. "Ms. Paul," another reporter. "Any response to your sister's public apology?" "Actions speak louder than Instagram posts," I replied. My phone buzzed again. An email from the fertility clinic. "Your story inspired us. We're offering discounted IVF to fraud victims." I forwarded it to Heidi. "Add this to the resource list." Walking to the car, I saw my reflection in a store window. Still standing, still strong, still me. "You know what the best revenge is?" Heidi asked. "Living well?" "No." She grinned. "Making sure their fairy tale becomes everyone else's warning story." My phone lit up one last time. A message from Detective Romero. "Jeremy's singing like a bird. More arrests coming. You started something bigger than you know." I smiled, thinking of all the evidence folders, all the paper trails, all the truth finally exposed. Ready to go home? Heidi asked. Almost. I pulled up my notes app, started typing. To everyone who asked why I fought so hard, here's your answer. Some people write fairy tales, others expose them. This is a story about justice, not revenge. About standing up, not breaking down. About truth, not happy endings. They planned a perfect love story with stolen pages. I rewrote the ending. And this time, justice was the happily ever after. Post. Now I'm ready, I said. Because sometimes the best endings aren't about forgiveness or revenge. They're about showing others how to fight back, how to stand up, how to rewrite their own endings, one truth at a time.